Hey everyone, this is Chaos Chrono, back with another episode of Keyforge deck openings with the Mass Mutation set. Hope everyone's doing well and enjoying their Thanksgiving in the States. Or probably past that now. It's Black Friday shopping probably. Stay safe out there and enjoy some games. So with that being said, let's get started and see what we have in today's deck. We do have a red Arcana, I believe, yep. And starting with this, nice, maybe we'll get some Sins, Logos, and Untamed. That's a nice set of houses. Takes me back to the Call of the Archon days when this would be a really fun deck to play, potentially. If back then if this did its job in Amber Control, then Untamed can rush and Logos can assist with some movement of the deck. In this set, this could be potentially pretty powerful. Looking for those giant creatures in Logos and Untamed, and the Sins in Dis, so we'll see what we get. Alright, putting down the deck list, and you're going to put this on the stand and run through these cards. Alright, starting with the bottom of the deck, we have Mutation of Fury. Amber Pip whenever you play it, and until the start of your next turn, a creature gains Assault 3 and the Mutant trait. So that means we're going to see the Dark Harbinger in this deck, which is one of my favorite cards in Untamed. Second copy of Mutation of Fury. Just two. Ritual of the Hunt. Amber Pip when you play it, and it's enhanced with a draw icon. Omni, destroy Ritual of the Hunt. For the remainder of the turn, you may use friendly untamed creatures. Alright, this is going to be interesting. Let's see what we get in the other houses. There's that Dark Harbinger, 4 power creature. After you play an untamed action card, ready Dark Harbinger. We have Amber Spine Mongrel, enhanced with a draw pip. 3 power creature, hazardous 3, and after an enemy creature reaps, gain an Ember. Resurgence, love to see this card. It enhances a draw pip in the deck, and when you play it, return a creature from your discard pile to your hand. If that creature is a mutant, return another creature from your discard pile to your hand. Niffleape, but no Nifflecong, because that probably would have been at the bottom of the deck. 3 power creature. While it's attacking, ignore Taunt and Elusive. Lost in the Woods. Amber when you play it. Choose 2 friendly creatures and 2 enemy creatures. Shuffle each chosen creature into its owner's deck. It's nice board control, especially when you're a little behind. Ghost Hawk, 2 power creature. Deploy. Play. You may reap with each neighboring creature one at a time. 2 Ghost Hawks. Flumph, 3 power. Skirmish. Fight, give a beast creature 2/+1 power counters. Very nice. Fandangle, yes, 3 power creature. While you have 4 or more Amber, your non-untamed creatures enter play ready. A very important card that needs to be addressed when it's played. It's great to see. Moving on to Logos, we have Sacrobot, 5 power, 2 armor creature. Reap, discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw a card. Fission Bloom, artifact, enhances 1 draw pip. And action, the next time you play a card this turn, resolve each of the bonus icons an additional time. Let's see if we got any enhancements in Logos. Discombobulator, Amber whenever you play it, it's an upgrade. This creature gains your Amber cannot be stolen. Nice protection there. Cronus, 3 power creature, enhances 2 draw icons into the deck, and after you resolve a draw bonus icon, you may archive a card. Causal Loop, enhanced with a draw icon. Play, archive a card, and archive Causal Loop. So that's going to be interesting, especially with the Fission Bloom and Cronus. That can stack quite a bit if they're all on the board. Munchling, 3 power creature with Skirmish. Fight, you may discard a Logos card from your hand or archives. If you do, gain an Amber. Lethalogica, Amber whenever you play it. It's an action. Discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard a Logos card or run out of cards. If you discard a Logos card this way, put it into your hand. Very nice cycling. 2 copies of Lethalogica. Infomorph. 4-power creature, enhances 2 draw icons into the deck. There's a lot of drop-ins, which I love to see. Effervescent Principle, nice, and we have a big Amber control card here too. It's an action card. When you play it, each player loses half their Amber, rounding down the loss, and you gain 1 chain. Daughter, 2-power creature, elusive. During your draw card step, you refill your hand to 1 additional card. Very nice. Oh, there was another copy. So Demobot, enhanced with a drop hit. 3-power creature, Reap, discard a card from your hand if you do draw a card, and Destroyed, steal 1. The demo aspect of these special units in each house are definitely good copies, as they all generally have good effects and players will want to remove them, but for this one there's that protection where if they do remove it, then you get to steal an Amber. Pretty decent logo set. We have Pain Mail, it's an upgrade. Amber whenever you play it, and it's enhanced with a draw icon. This is very nice. This creature gains after any player chooses this as their active house. Put Pain Mail into its owner's archives and destroy this creature. So, Pain Mail is a card that you'd like to reuse over and over again, and this enhancement then gets to be used over and over again. That's great. Pain Reaction, Amber whenever you play it, and also enhanced with a draw icon. Deal 2 damage to an enemy creature. If this damage destroys that creature, deal 2 damage to each of that creature's neighbors. Nice board control. Grim Reminder, choose a house. Archive each creature of that house from your discard pile. Gain a chain. Waking Nightmare, Amber whenever you play it. Enhances 1 capture icon. We've yet to see that, I believe. Play. Keys cost +1 for each disc creature in play during your opponent's next turn. Remember, this also includes your opponent's discards as well. Stirring Grave, Amber whenever you play it. Archive a creature from your discard pile. Cinder, 6-power, 2-armor creature with Taunt. When you reap, you must destroy a friendly creature. Mark of this, Amber whenever you play it. Deal 2 damage to a creature. If it is not destroyed, its controller must choose that creature's house as their active house on their next turn. Oh, just 1 copy. Infernus, 4-power creature. Purge up to 2 cards from a discard pile. Your opponent loses Amber equal to the number of Amber bonus icons on the purged cards. Always a lovely card to see. Gateway to this with that capture icon. Oh my goodness. This is the second time I have a deck with this exact setup. That is now a moot capture icon, as the creature that's probably going to capture is probably going to be dead. Unless we find a way to ward stuff, which I don't think there's anything thus far. Drekker, 4-power creature. Damage dealt to Drekker's neighbors during fights is also dealt to Drekker. Reap, steal an Amber. Getting close to the end here. Ooh, Dominator Bulb. Nice artifact. Action, user-friendly creature. Quite a bit of house cheating for not having Starlines. I think that's the last card. Bonesaw, 5-power creature. If a friendly creature was destroyed this turn, Bonesaw enters play ready. It's nice to have beefy 5-power creature after wiping the board. So that's it for all the cards. I'm going to get this organized and we'll see what we actually have going on in this deck. Alright, everything is organized for Amber generation. So, looking at this, we have 4 pips in Untamed, 3 pips in Logos, and 5 pips in Dis. So altogether, we have 12 pips, which is not bad at all, given that there is quite a bit of replayability on a lot of these cards, mainly focusing on Pain Mail, and also the interactions between Dark Harbinger and the Untamed action cards. Below them are creatures that can potentially generate. So we have the Dark Harbinger, Ghost Hawks, Munchling, Drekker, and Bonesaw. All creatures that are potentially able to just give us a bit more Amber than we anticipate from general board use. So with that 12 pip baseline, we can add definitely at least a 1 for Dark Harbinger. Let's say 1 each for Ghost Hawk. So that's 3 more to the 12, 15. Munchling will give 1 as well, 16. Drecker and Bonesaw will count as 1, 17. So in terms of Ember generation, looking at 17, it can be higher for sure, depending, especially with the speed that's attached to a lot of these cards, especially with the draw icons. So we're going with 17 for the Amber generation. Moving on to Amber control. With these 3 houses, we're looking pretty light on the Amber control count. So Effervescent Principle, Infernus, Waking Nightmare, Drecker, those are probably the most reliable. Demobot's are 8. So 5 is on the reliable side. Amber Spy Mongrel tends to die pretty quickly, but we have upwards to 6 cards that affect Amber control. Now, the capture icon on Gateway to Dis can potentially be counted, but overall it's not likely to net us any control, so I'm not going to count that. The overall value of those Amber controls are also relatively weak, aside from obviously the Infernus and Effervescent Principle. So I'm going to go with the 5 as Amber control, though technically it's a slightly higher value than that. Going into a bit of creature control, we do have a bit of that going on. We do have 1 wipe in Gateway to Dis, which is always nice to see. We have some spot removal with Pain Reaction, Pain Mail, Lost in the Woods. And Mark of Dis occasionally can count if you're destroying the creature, but it's more of a disruption of the card that's key for its use. We have Dark Harbinger with the Mutations of Fury, which gives it Assault 3 each, which could stack and give it Assault 6, which is really interesting. Flumph is as a skirmish fighter, Munchling as another skirmish fighter, and Sacrobot as a big body. And in this we have Cinder and Bonesaw as fighters as well. So overall creature control is pretty decent. Definitely not at that high of a number, not that consistent, but with the draw and speed that we'll see in a bit, I think that this could make up for its lack of overall firepower in generation, in control, and in creature control. So to give it a rating, I'd say it's about an 8 to 10 on the higher end, just because there's several other bodies that we're not really counting towards the control aspect. So depending on the overall count of creatures, that may or may not be a more important value to take note of. Alright, moving on to speed. I think this is where the deck can really shine. So within the entire deck we have about 6 enhancements with the draw icons. Now usually I don't take out those specific cards to count this number, but this time it's important, as with Vision Bloom, as well as the combination of Vision Bloom and Cronus. Those are important factors to take note of. So within Untamed, aside from the cards with enhancements, we have Fandangle that really is a card that needs to be addressed by the opponent, especially when the ability is active. Once you have enough Amber, that can lead to a whole host of problems for the opponent. If it stays on the board and you're able to start playing your creatures from other houses down in ready. Resurgence helps with the speed in that you get to what you need when you need it, especially when you're looking to bring back a creature specifically. And looking at these, there's several good targets, like Dark Harbinger is a mutant in itself, so that'll bring back another creature. And if this is the Untamed set, you could bring Fandango back, you can bring the Ghost Hawks into play. There's a lot of good targets. You can bring back Ember Spy Mongrel, and it has an enhanced draw pip, so all that is repeatable, which makes this deck particularly awesome. In Logos, we obviously have the Lethalogicas that let you cycle through the deck. We have the 2 bots that lets you cycle as well to discard and draw a new card. One of them is enhanced with the draw icon, and it happens to be the one that you want to get killed anyway, so there's potential for it to cycle. It could be one of the targets for your Resurgence. We have Daughter that increases draws. We have Cronus that enhances the deck, but since we already counted all those pips, its secondary ability of archiving when you resolve those pips is what makes this card more notable. Causal Loop will constantly archive itself and therefore be replayable, and it has a draw pip on it. That's perfect. That's like having a QMax, right? Like originally I didn't really like that card because it's very finicky to work with. You're in a Logos turn, you're trying to play it, you're archiving a card that's not of the same house. When you pick it up, Causal Loop's going to be in your hand, it clogs it up a bit, so it's not the style of archiving I like. It reminds me of the Mobius Scroll from set 1, I think, and that was an artifact form too, so it was even worse. But I think it was archive 2 cards and Mobius Scroll, so you can archive a bit more than this card could. Now, Fission Bloom in this logo set changes up things quite a bit. There's a lot of good targets. If you have Cronus on the board, that just makes it even better, as most of the time you're going to be going for those draw pips. You double up a draw pip, you double up the archive, and this allows the deck to move a lot faster, allows you to plan out future turns, allows you to save up. In this, we have the Paymail that in and of itself is repeatable. It's made to repeat, so honestly it's a great card to have any sort of enhancements on. We have Pain Reaction, again it's the enhancement. Dominator Bauble in this case is good because of the bots that you have in Logos. If you can combine or access them using the Dominator Bauble, that can really help you cycle. Obviously there's plenty of other creatures like Munchling and other fighters that are useful in their own right. Stirring Grave and Grim Reminder, great ways to just bring back all these important creatures and get maximum value. Yeah, that Logos set, when you bring it right back, there's how much higher value for doing that within this deck. That's the speed, and based off these numbers, let's just look at the number of cards. 19 cards in total. Obviously the Ghost Hawks are there as well because of the potential use of those bots, so additional reaps, additional ways to cycle through your deck. With 19 cards that in some way, shape or form can play into that speed, I'll keep that as the rating. And for the other categories, unfortunately there's no artifact control. This is a fast deck with limited Amber control options, decent Amber generation options, with potentials to combo and really run ahead. Overall, the feeling of this deck makes me feel like it's in the probably low mid 70s is what I would rate this deck. Let's give it a solid 74 for a rating in terms of SAS. And that's it for this deck. As usual, I will post the link, the Decks of Keyforge link on the end, and to show you what their rating system rates this deck at, just as a fun measure of how close I get to their system, which overall is a nice overview of each deck. But again, as usual, play the deck before you decide on whether to keep it or to chuck it or to donate, to sell, etc. Each deck has its nuances and ways of really bringing forth its true potential, so obviously luck of the draw is also part of the game, but don't let that distract you from keeping and using a specific deck. Find what's fun in it, and if it's your cup of tea, then keep it and run with it. That's the nature of this game, and it's really just have fun kind of thing. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing to help support the channel. If you have any feedback or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. As always, be kind and happy forging!